Hello everybody. It's been a little bit since we played some WoW, but today we're gonna be doing the gold route I figured out just before we stopped playing on like the last couple streams. Gonna see just how quickly I can run through it. It's gonna kind of just be my like baseline to see how quickly I can run this within like the course of an hour. And then we're gonna see how viable it is to just keep doing that as like one-off little pieces until we hit Shadowlands, just to see how much money I could make in theory. Because I've got 4 alts that should be able to run this now, so like 40,000 gold, although 10,000 is locked to Horde, which is irritating. I can still use that like off bit as like extra money for buying like auction house mounts eventually, I guess. I think I've bought all the cheap ones that are on the auction house at this point, to be honest.
How fortunate.
But the plan is run through this route, see how quickly we can go through it, and then once we've finished up here, I'm gonna hopefully switch back over to Necromunda, finish up the operation that we started, maybe start a new one depending on how long it takes. I did intentionally start like an hour almost earlier than normal, just because I feel like if we run this route quick enough, we can probably hit it in like 45 minutes, and that gives us like a full 2 hours then to finish stuff up in Necromunda and make the most progress possible on that front. So hopefully we work this out pretty well. But yeah, WoW stuff. Still haven't got beta access. Basically gonna run out of... If I get beta access like next week, I'm gonna be kind of pissed because it's basically... There's no point playing it at that point. Other than it'll allow me to maybe test out my Covenant abilities, I guess. That's about it. There's something I have noticed coming back to this. It's unlike a lot of games where I just forget the button combinations. I don't feel like you can forget WoW once you've played it for long enough. Because despite the controls being so weird in comparison to every other game, they also stick, I think, because they're so different to every other game. It's like when you play a whole bunch of Souls-likes, they all kind of just blur into one, and every Souls-like does the same thing but with slightly different buttons. Every time. Like, one game will have dodge on B, another game will have it on, like, fucking X or whatever, right? Like, it just moves around the controller, but it's all the same thing every time. Whereas WoW has such a weirdly unique control scheme. I guess if I'd played a whole bunch of different MMOs, it would probably blur into one a little more. But going from WoW to playing, like, strategy games or Halo, it's a very different control scheme. So it very much, like, stands out in comparison to everything else, I think. Which is kind of nice, because it means you can just drop in and out of playing WoW, and it's like, oh yeah, this is how I play. And hopefully I'll remember the fact that I have things like Feigned Death, which I completely forgot even existed on my toolkit until like last stream, when it was pointed out to me that Feigned Death is a thing. So there are things I do forget, but the like basic controls, that stays with everything. Yeah, I got the pet again. I wonder if we're going to run this same thing we did last time where we got every single pet drop item from every boss. That was kind of insane. Right, actually thinking about it while this boss loads in, I need to bring up my list of things. Which one is it? That one, cool. I'm pretty sure I said in the last gold farming stream I needed to like add numbers to the like rotation list, the raids and stuff that we run on this. I added numbers, funnily enough, so now I know which order they are within the list of the LFR guy, so I can just pick them out way quicker. Whereas before I was like scrolling up and down being like, where's this specific one in this order or whatever. But honestly, it feels like it's faster to just run in fact, can I just do that and then it'll keep popping this bubble and then it will kill all the things? Yep, cool. Azurite powers. Yep, there's the other pet. We are actually going to do this again, aren't we? Can't use any of these. I wonder if these will even sell in the auction house. Might have a look. Probably not, considering they seem to drop every time you kill the boss. The drop rate on them seems really high. Yeah, other changes from the last time we played WoW. I actually have a playlist that I use now by the same guy where it's all of the mixes he has done, like, all put together. So it's kind of a mix, but it's all the same, like, synthwave stuff. Just some of it's a bit darker than others, apparently. I think some of them are, like, horror synthwave tracks, so that might be an interesting change of pace occasionally. Might have to skip over a couple. Who knows? But it should mean we just have, like, almost like a bank of soundtracks to play now, rather than having to, like, keep finding new ones all the time. Ah, god damn it. I got pulled in before I could fire the laser at him. Yeah, now we actually have a soundtrack of music, and for those people who don't watch the Necromunda streams, we do have a new starting soon page, which I might change all the artwork to be soon. That kind of synthwave look to everything. I think it's pretty nice. Oh yeah, do we move faster without the mount? We do. Oh yeah, we also have these, which I was going to open at the start of the stream, but I forgot, so we'll do it. Once we get to the exit, and we'll just see if we got any mounts out of that, because that'll be a nice little bonus. That's a yoke. That's a mount. And that's the other one. There we go. That's all the mana rays done as well. That is a nice way to start the stream. Just add all of those to the list, because I'd love these things. Oh, actually, we're still missing one, which is the red one. Still missing one, so we've got to go back at some point. But I'll probably do that off stream and just get the eggs ready for whenever we next do a gold farming thing, so I can just open them at the start again. As like an added little bonus thing. Yeah, we are actually slowly... Oh, one of them was a pet, not a mount. That would be why. I didn't even know there was a pet variant of it. Oh, my phone just tried to wreck my desk. Nice. Thankfully it was just a paint handle that fell over and not, you know, the concrete fucking pots that are stacked on top of each other right here. Right, Guardians of Mogasham. Also still need to go back and finish off the Argent tournament, but that's a trip that can wait. I'll turn the music down ever so slightly, because it was starting to kind of hurt my ear. Because I have to play things louder than I would do normally for the stream to actually register them, which is kind of irritating. Because I literally can't turn up the desktop volume any louder than it is. I have to manually turn up the specific application, which then hurts my ears, which is fun. Slight downside to having a really good pair of headphones is that. In fact, can I use Cheetah Speed to just grab all these guys and go grab the boss too? Yes, I can. And then just nuke them all down with that. Nice. But I can't loot because there's too much stuff. There we go. But yeah, also I opened the mailbox this morning to look at all the stuff I'd left on the auction house for the past week. Turns out the Ethereum keys that I'd been leaving on the auction house sold for almost $3 grand, so that was a nice way to start the day. I guess with Asmongold doing his whole Hero of Shatrath thing and trying to get them boots, everyone is now trying to get them as well, so the Ethereum keys that just weren't going anywhere suddenly all sold. And I made a crap load of gold off of it, so that was nice. Because I play on EU, it probably isn't people buying them to give them to him, so it's definitely people trying to compete with him. I feel like. Why do they not have icons on them? They cannot be learned anyway. They had no icons. It's odd. Unless the UI thing is just bugging out. Entirely possible. I also, this morning, looked and found that the... Oh, I used the wrong ability. The Glory of the Dragon Soul Raider achievement is actually incredibly simple. The thing I thought would require several people, turns out you can just do it with one person. You just have to kite the boss around in circles, basically, and bounce the ball back towards him. And then the, getting the guys to not shoot the deck of the ship. Turns out you do that by running into the way of the projectiles, and the projectile hits you rather than the ship, which then counts as you blocking the thing from shooting the ship. So actually, the glory achievements for that are incredibly simple. If you do it with 2 people, it's even easier because you have one person kite the boss away from the ball while you bounce it around, and then the deck of the ship, one person can just run to the spots to stop it hitting the ship while the other person shoots down the dragons. It's actually incredibly simple, and now I kind of want to go and do it. But that can wait for another stream, because today, Necromunda, once we're done here. Because I really want to finish up that Operation Necromunda. It's been really fun playing that game. It is kind of janky. I can't, like, defend that in any way. It's janky. Like, there are NPCs using zip lines while doing the A pose. There are NPCs running into barrels rather than actually going anywhere. Sometimes they'll run up to you, turn around, run away, go crouch in a corner rather than attacking you, and like just weird. Like the AI just isn't functioning super well in that game. But it's fun when the AI does work. And also playing Necromunda in like a digital fashion, even though it's kind of... It's not really Necromunda, it's almost like a, I don't know, a simplified version, I guess, from the actual tabletop version, but it's nice to be able to play it again, and play it against, like, you know, randomized AI opponents and stuff. Because before, when I was playing Necromunda, I didn't mind just playing against one person, but you are just playing the same gangs every time. And so, like, the actual, almost like the gameplay becomes very repetitive, because you're literally fighting the same things over and over and over again rather than fighting variety, which helps in a digital game because you can have as many randomized AI teams as possible. And it doesn't require you to spend, like, you know, 25 quid every time you want to fight a different gang, basically. You just buy the game instead. Which is much nicer. And it feels like they are intending to add more stuff to that game. Because, just looking at the loading screens, like I've spoke about it on a couple streams, about the idea of them adding in the extra little, like, flavorful units that every gang has. But even the loading screens are literally like, oh yeah, the Goliaths have the Sump Crocs, the Orlocks have these weird blue cherub things and stuff. Like, every faction has their own little extra flair unit, like pets or bigger things, so it looks like they're going to be adding those things in, especially with them essentially teasing it in the loading screens all the time. And I really hope they do, because it'll add a lot more variety, again, on top of what's already there. But I feel like the jank needs fixing before they start adding in flavor stuff. Thanks. Hey, thanks for the follow. Yeah, I'm just spamming buttons and trying to get through this as quickly as possible, I'll be honest. I'm not really doing anything in a skillful manner. Yeah, Necromunda, that's fun. I'm gonna try that again later, try and finish that off. I want to finish up the operation I'm on right now and then move up to a higher difficulty and just keep doing that, because it seems like the AI doesn't really scale with the difficulty. It's just the amount of stuff they have changes. Which if the AI is still as janky as it is on the hardest difficulty as it is on easy, then it's not exactly going to be a challenge. Because that AI is all over the place. Right, yes, up here.
But to have it happen to my own thorax is ridiculous.
But yeah, we're just working through my like gold farming route basically, and hopefully going as quickly as possible. The time we're even on like 15 minutes, we've cleared like 3 things already. Doing a pretty good job actually.
It's too far away. I don't have a target. I'm out of range.
Actually, where are my pets at? They're just not here. Cool.
My domain, and I will hear your death screams as you plummet from the
I mostly do streaming as a fun thing, hobby. Not really making any money off of it. I don't have like a partner thing or anything. Haven't set up a donation thing either because it feels a bit weird asking for money when I've been streaming for like 2 months essentially. I do have an old like Redbubble t-shirt shop thing. Because I used to do YouTube a lot ages ago, so I have that set up as just like a thing if people wanted to get something for themselves while also supporting whatever. Yeah, I kind of just started doing this during lockdown off the back of playing a whole bunch of WoW, because I was like really missing, I just wasted that. I was really missing like a structure, basically, and I was kind of just sitting around doing nothing all day. And just applying to jobs and trying to get somewhere, and then I started playing a whole bunch of WoW that gave me a structure, got me back into a routine. Then sort of used that to springboard myself back into streaming after not doing it for like almost a year. And now I'm back here doing this pretty much almost every day at this point, apart from like Wednesdays when I help look after my nephew for a little bit. I should really just bin all of those. I do kind of want to see if I can auction house them as the thing. Oh yeah, nightmare. Yeah, kind of just do this, give myself like a structure and stuff. Got any tips for starting on WoW? I mean, kind of just pick whatever you think sounds good. That's all I did. I played WoW originally back during like Cataclysm, like years ago, back when I was in like secondary school, basically. Then I dropped out of it really early on. Then I came back during BFA. I picked a gnome because I thought they were dumb. I decided to choose a hunter because the whole thing of like taming different beasts and stuff seemed really cool. And if you choose like Beastmaster Hunter, you can tame weird different things as well. Like you can tame spirit beasts, which are like weird different ghosts and stuff of different animals. Yeah, just pick whatever you think sounds fun and just give it a go, really. And the thing with WoW is you can always just make another character and start out again. You can send stuff across characters as long as they're on the same faction and whatever. Say you pick a warrior, but it gets a bit boring, you can always just send all of your like gold and stuff you've earned across to a new character and give them like a head start. I think I've got like 4 different characters now almost at max level, and then a bunch of other like little characters I've made along the way just to try out different stuff. But I think you can play up to level 20 right now for free, and then you have to like pay a subscription or whatever to keep playing past that point. But the new expansion comes out. Panda that joined Horde. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, if you're starting out, maybe wait till like Shadowlands comes out. Because I don't know how the thing is working with the free trial in Shadowlands, but I'm assuming you can play probably more than 20 levels. You're probably better off waiting for Shadowlands and then jumping in then. But yeah. I played Horde back in the day during Cataclysm. I played a Blood Elf Paladin. That was my like first ever character, pretty much. I do still have a soft spot for the Horde, but I chose gnomes this time literally just because they were dumb, and that's how I've ended up. My gnome became my main, basically. Nice if Kill Command had worked and actually directed them to that one. Trying to think what else to give as advice for like starting out in WoW, to be honest. I kind of just picked whatever I liked and gave it a go. I feel like if you're still early on now, like maybe try and get to like level 60-ish, because when the new expansion comes out and it's bringing everyone's levels down, you'll be at like level 25, so then you've only got like 25 levels to go before you hit max, basically. It gives you a good head start on the new like leveling system. Which honestly, I'm excited for the new leveling system, because I intend to go back and make a Void Elf Monk, I think it was the plan. You actually get to pick an expansion to play basically all the way through with the new system. I kind of wanted to play through all of Pandaria from like, you know, 10 to 60.
Eliminate these Cretans, or I will kill you myself.
I do have a Pandaren, I think. I think he's a shaman? Because originally I was leveling this gnome alongside a friend. We like played through the free trial thing together and decided to actually go like all the way and buy a subscription and everything again. But I ended up like getting really far ahead on this character, so I made a Pandaren Shaman to go back and help them. Just because I was like out leveling everything, and it was before they brought in the party sync system. So I was just one-shotting everything and he was getting no XP. So I had to go make another character to actually go back and help him do stuff.
It's too far away.
Also, if you haven't already, like getting into a guild early on would be a good plan. Just because you get a whole bunch of bonuses from being in a guild anyway, if they're an established one. Like there's a bunch of different perks and stuff. Like faster hearthstones and extra little bits and pieces. Also you can get a bunch of mounts from that. Unfortunately, the guild I'm in isn't active anymore. After Classic, everyone just left to go and play that and hasn't come back yet, so... Not in a great situation on that front, but getting into a guild, definitely a good first step. Also, it just gives you a community to like talk to and ask for tips, especially if you're, again, starting out. Also means you get to experience all the cool endgame stuff with raiding and things. Rather than having to do it with like LFR or randoms. Because there seems to be a surprising amount of elitists in like random dungeons and raids to say that they're, you know, like generally considered the lowest tier of content. Should have waited to use that on Lei Shin, really. Oh, also if you're starting out on a hunter, getting a spirit beast as soon as possible if you're playing Beastmaster. They are stupidly strong pets. I'm pretty sure if I summon my Spirit Beast Griffin, I have more health than a warrior wearing full plate that's like 30 item levels higher than me. Because they give you like a health boost thing. And then I think they also heal themselves, so you don't have to worry about like keeping your pets alive and whatever. Yeah, no, we have literally done that again, apart from we didn't get a second Spirit of the Spring. That's the second time we've ran these and just got the pets from every single boss to drop somehow. Apart from him on the second run. Not sure how I've managed that 2 times in a row. The drop rate must be incredibly low. Trying to think of any other tips. I guess if you're just starting out, like picking professions and stuff, make sure you pick a gathering profession, like mining or herbalism or something. Just because you can get, it's not a massive amount, but you get little bits of bonus XP from every like node that you mine or harvest, so it can help speed up leveling just a little bit more. It's really nice. Forgotten depths.
May you find mastery in your passions.
And then if you can also tie that gathering profession with something fun or useful, like engineering's really good for hunters. If you want to make gold with it rather than XP, skinning and leatherworking right now, I think is the really good one. Some of the leatherworking items are like stupidly expensive for how cheap they are to make, so you can make a crap load of gold really quickly doing that.
You are most welcome. Slow down. Life is to be savored.
I think we might be cutting it close to my estimated time on doing all of this. For half an hour, I've got 3 raids left to do.
Nazgrim has failed us. Kor'kron, destroy these intruders.
Oh, I didn't mean to shoot them. That was bad. I think I killed them all though, somehow. That was nice. That was not intended. pet aggroed on? Fuck's sake. Ran through a whole horde of things. Nice. Yeah, we'll finish this up and then... Okay. Apparently we won't. Oh. Okay. I was kind of expecting a disconnect or a crash, to be honest, but we just froze in place. That was interesting. I feel like there are less quests on my bar than there should be. Yeah, so less of that, and then we have to fly off and do the 2 raids on either end of the map, pretty much. Which is the slowest part of this whole thing.
Loads of forgotten knowledge are within our grasp.
Keep your eyes on the horizon.
I do kind of hope they add more races, kind of like the pandas. They get to choose which faction they go to. It's a really nice feature. Wow. Have you been playing WoW for long then? I was speaking to a guy last stream and gave me a whole bunch of tips about playing. Oh no, funnily enough. Been playing it a lot longer than I have. Still very much looking forward to playing Shadowlands. Kind of glad that I've had time to take a break and kind of just coming back to do these little bits every now and again with WoW.
Thousands of years. Who knows what secrets await?
It does feel a little better. I feel like I kind of went a bit hard on WoW for a little while there. It was super useful to use it as that, like, springboard structure creation thing. I think I kind of overloaded myself with the amount of stuff I kind of put on my checklist of things I wanted to do before Shadowlands hit. It feels pretty good to be at a point of kind of ready for Shadowlands. Yeah. There's the other pet. Sure, it would be nice to hit that 250 mount collection, but I feel like 44 mounts in, what, like 2 weeks is probably not very easily doable unless I get insanely lucky, pretty much. Because I've essentially cleared off every easy to get mount in the game at this point. All I've got left is mount drops and grinds that will take months to do.
We have disturbed what should not have been disturbed. You cannot be free to escape this prison. You must destroy him.
Let's be fair, I could probably start doing some more of the daily quest stuff. But...
was betrayed by 4 emperors of the Morgul. His body destroyed each time, only to rise again. This is not the last we have seen of Faith.
that was not the thing I meant to shoot.
Ancient allies of the Morgul. They must seek the legendary's weapon within the depths of the vault. Back that way, anyhow. I'm sorry I did not tell you earlier. These vaults house a weapon of unimaginable power. Stop them.
Yeah, I guess technically I have got the green proto-drake one I could go and start doing. And the shadow pan, I think, are also like a daily quest. Rotation. I'm wondering where my pets are half the time during this run. They just disappear. They just run off and go and fight their own battles by the looks of it.
Time to play, friends.
But yeah, I guess a more serious tip would probably be try and play WoW in moderation as much as possible, because there's a lot to do in this game and you don't want to burn yourself out. I feel like that's a pretty major one.
Give me dying time now. Bah, bested by the likes of you. What a shame for us under.
I did used to really enjoy doing the Netherwing daily quest. I did those on like very early streams. I think maybe the second stream I ever did. Of like the new stuff anyway.
Find a new home for my soul.
Was literally the end of me doing the Netherwing dailies.
A doorway and time a window.
I just find that fun because you could kind of do that however you wanted to, and you could put in as much or as little effort as you wanted to and still make progress, basically. You could just do the dailies, or you could go off and do like collecting the eggs to get bonus stuff. You could go and like farm stuff down in the mines to maybe get drops from mobs and stuff to progress the rep. Just kind of a fun daily system. Kind of allowed you to do things how you wanted to. It's kind of the same thing in Pandaria, actually, with the... what is it, the Cloud Serpents? It's pretty much the same. Where you can just do the dailies, or you can go off and collect the eggs, but there's usually a lot more people farming for the eggs in Pandaria. And there's also a lot less spawn locations. Whereas the Netherwing ones, there's a lot. There's like 2 different locations, and then within those locations there's like mine shafts and a whole bunch of other stuff that can also drop eggs. So the Netherwing one is definitely a lot easier to do. But they're fun. They're just like little daily quest hubs that, like I say, you can do at your own pace, pretty much. I used to really enjoy doing Argent Crusade when I started it, but that's a really long grind. Like, I've done like half of it, and the other half I have to do is like a month's long, because it's just getting like 17 tokens a day or whatever, and you need 100 per mount. I think there's 7 mounts at that price. A little bit of a drag in comparison. Yeah, it's kind of fun starting out with that, because it's all like, I mentioned before on different streams, it's like sort of night roleplay almost. Like you're going off and saving maidens and retrieving swords from stones and weird stuff like that all the time. Like it's sort of very stereotypical knight fantasy stuff. Which feels like a nice change from, like, you know, fighting weird physical forms of fears in Pandaria and giant dragons in Cataclysm and stuff, to just going and getting a sword out of a stone or saving somebody.
To their nefarious will. These Jinyu have been locked in an eternal.
It's a nice change of pace, but it became kind of a drag after a while, so dropped that a little bit. I should probably do a Battle Pet stream at some point, just so I can try and get those mounts. I think I might wait until maybe we run out of Shadowlands content when that comes out, because it feels like it's right around the corner right now. Like what, we've got pre-patch 2 weeks time, and then it's only a couple weeks after that, really. Well, it's a month pretty much, and then Shadowlands. Right in the middle of Hallow's End. Kind of a fitting time to release that, actually.
Greetings. This seems to be a terminal controlling the device. Let's see here.
It'd be really nice if we can get the mount today. One of the only mounts left I really, really want. I should just not say anything, to be honest. Might actually get it if I don't say anything. Oh. I really messed that up. I went to press Q and ended up hitting W. And then E. Yeah, auction house sales immediately. Nice.
We must go. We are not done yet.
Yeah, I think that my plan when Shadowlands hits is going to be play through all the content on my gnome, and then maybe look at leveling an alt my monk, just see how quickly I can get through the content. From what I've heard, leveling in Shadowlands is going to be even easier than it is right now with double XP. Supposedly you can get from like 10 to 50 in one sitting, which is pretty good. I could test it out right now on the PTR, but feels like it kind of defeats the point, because I'm going to have to do it all again on live anyway in like a couple weeks' time, so it's like a bit of a waste. Yeah, depending on how quickly it takes to level a character, I might end up leveling 2 extra hunters and just rolling 4 hunters in Shadowlands, just so I can play all the different covenants. And then if for whatever reason my guild needs a specific hunter, then I can always just swap over to it. Probably take a lot of effort to keep 4 hunters geared up for the whole expansion, but I can always just give them my like handy-down stuff, that as long as it's not soulbound anyway. I feel like that might be easier rather than having like 4 separate alts just to run through the expansion stuff. mostly excited just to play through the Necrolord stuff, because that seems fun. I want to build my abominations. Ah yes, the Ruby Panther, the mount that I own but doesn't exist in the mount collection. Such a weird bug. The flying carpet doesn't show up in the mount collection either. But I do have it and it does count towards my mount total. Which doesn't exist in the list. Unless they fix the Panther, which would be embarrassing. Nope. Still only Jade, Sapphire, Sunstone, and the Onyx one. But I'm literally on the red one right now. The flying carpet also still bugged. Yep. Apparently that's the only flying carpet in the game, but there's like 5, I think. Also his feet sticks through the bottom. Oh, there we go. That would be why. He's supposed to be surfing on it. In a way, I do kind of miss playing on the Horde side. Like, the amount of variety and like the races on the Horde side far outweighs the Alliance stuff. Like, Alliance, you've got all your generic fantasy good guy races, basically, and then the Horde has all the interesting stuff, like Minotaurs and Undead, and to be fair, even the 2 different Orc races are kind of cool looking in comparison to, like, humans. But, you know. I chose a gnome, and now I'm kind of tied to this side of the faction wall. Oh, it's over there. The Siege of... I don't think I've ever even done that dungeon. Probably should at some point. Probably missing it for an achievement, to be honest. Come on, swap. There we go. That big tree over there. Yeah, also still haven't got any of the primordial dire horns, but that's a grind not worth doing in my opinion. I suppose back during like Pandaria and even during WoD, it probably would have been doable, but right now, just because they have so little health in comparison to how much damage we output, trying to get any of those mounts is just not going to happen 90% of the time.
How fortunate.
You can sit waiting for them for like an hour and someone else can just fly past, one-shot them, and then you get nothing. It's the worst. It'd be nice if they made those loading screens 16:9 now, rather than the weird old 4:3. I can't remember if it's Legion or WoD where they updated it and started doing it with the like modern monitor resolution rather than the old one. I think it'd be difficult for them to go back and like just get the artist back in for 5 minutes to add an extra. Well, it would be longer than 5 minutes, but you know, get the artist back in just to add the extra bits on the edges that aren't there. Daphne's on heroic, right? Yeah.
We fight, toil, and serve, so that her vision for us is made reality.
Also, a gold farming tip with this front room: if you instead don't fight the boss in this room, you can just respawn the trash in the first bit and farm out the gold from there.
We shaft of the world tumbles across our doorstep, driven by fear. Her royal storm will
Which is good, but I also get bored doing stuff like that, so I don't do it. It's weird saying I don't really like repetitive stuff while playing an MMO, but there's a certain level of repetitiveness that I dislike. Like, this gold farming route is the same thing that I do like every week, but it's every section of it is a different location, different dungeon, different enemies. There's enough variety in there that it keeps me interested enough to repeat it. Whereas just running into the same room, killing the same, like, 15 mobs and leaving and doing the same thing again, I get kind of bored. Which unfortunately means I can't really do the super efficient gold farms like Skyreach, I think it is, that you can just run like 10 times in an hour and make a 4,000 gold or something, which is almost a half of what I make running this route normally. Yeah. And you can repeat that like 10 times every hour. I just find it incredibly boring. Well, the Skyreach isn't that bad. Skyreach is like super small. It's still boring. Pretty sure if you play Engineer, you can also like speed up Skyreach even more, because you can make the fried bombs and throw them up to the ledge behind where you come out onto the platform to fight the big bird. And that then gets rid of all the wind mechanics, so you can just walk straight to the next boss without like any thing slowing you down, basically. Which is nice. How much gold have we made so far? Almost 8,000? Not bad. Nice to hit closer to 10,000, but don't feel like that's gonna happen this week. Oh. It's a blue bow I don't think I've got. There's a nice random trash drop. Yeah, not learned. Nice. What they even look like? I mean, that's a cool one. It's definitely not the one. Oh, it's that. That's why I immediately glanced over the top of it. Oh, cool. It's got the, like, Chinese dragons. It's a nice look. Just out of curiosity, have I not got the achievement for just killing him by shooting his body? Cool. Yeah, no, I hadn't. Nice. I'm assuming that's because my pet's AoE all the time, so it probably broke his legs by accident. But nice. What am I actually... Is there a Pandaria one that I'm just missing parts of? This one. Oh. I'm missing a lot. Ah. Didn't realize how much I was missing from Pandaria. I know I've done the Wrath one, and I think I've done the Cataclysm one as well, actually. Yes. And Outland. I don't think I've done the Cataclysm dungeon one. Probably ran most of the dungeons, but I don't think I've got most of the like specific achievements. think I got a few of them during time walking by accident. Yeah. Oh yeah, and I got some of these when I was leveling, like, the first time through. Which was really nice. I haven't been to Dead Mines in ages. Last time I was in Dead Mines was in Classic. Kinda wanna go back and do Dead Mines again at some point. This kind of suck. They still haven't added back in like the classic variants of dungeons and stuff. Because I mean, they remade them all for classic, so all they have to do is, well, I guess they have to port that code across to actual WoW and add in an NPC and tie things together and make sure everything isn't broken. But still, it would be nice to see some of that stuff reintroduced. Because like if you do Dead Mines now, you only get like half the story of it. The Dead Mines is in the game is the Cataclysm one, which is the like sequel to the original Dead Mines, which you can't do in the regular game. It'd be nice to have those things reintroduced. So when they did Cataclysm, I don't think they had the tech or whatever to have like two variants of a zone on top of each other like they do now. You can swap between BFA, Pandaria, and regular to like get rid of the old god stuff if you wanted to just use the original version of the zone. It'd be nice if they used all the stuff they made for Classic and just did the same thing for all the Classic zones. Especially with them like revamping the leveling system and stuff, it seems like a nice thing they could integrate into that, basically. Hey, actually ran out of space. Well, these aren't going on the auction house because I'm deleting them if I can. Apparently her model is that big I can't click off of it. Move your fat ass out of the way. Cool. Maybe we'll be able to pick everything up now? Yes. Nice. Well, let's Dalaran half out of here and then I'll sell everything. See how much gold we made. It looks like, I'm guessing maybe 9,000-ish? Pretty close to 10,000. If it wasn't for the instance cap, we could probably hit over that by just running everything in the LFR list. No, it's not super efficient to do that, but it's a lot quicker than going to all the instances individually. Just the stuff you get is not as valuable as the heroic variants. Time to disappear as I summon my mammoth. Just move out of people's way. Oh, damn, we got a lot of gear out of those last few, actually. Panda monk sat next to me. can mail all the rest of that stuff across to other characters. So, how much did we come out of this with? 9,330 gold. Nice. And then also 49 Motes of Harmony, which will go on the auction house. Which, if I go and have a look, should be a good chunk of extra money unless they've been, like, horribly tanked since the last time I was playing, which was like a week ago. Hopefully not. They used to be real good. There we go, that's an extra 700 gold? Pretty much, so actually, 10,000 gold. It's pretty damn good. And sold some arcane tomes for like 70 gold as well. But yeah. Right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for chatting. Some coffee. I'll be back in like 5 minutes, but we're gonna play some Necromunda. I'm just gonna take like a quick toilet break, restart the stream, change title and everything. So we're back in a few short minutes, hopefully.